You, as the founder of the company, do not start realizing how important your time is until the company has actually grown. Let me explain to you what I mean by this. So, as the business grows, you will find yourself having to do more and more things that you ultimately did not sign up for. And as the business grows, you are traditionally, obviously, getting older in life, which means typically you will have more responsibilities, more things that come with it, whether that's children, whether that's a marriage, no matter what it is. There are more things that fill your space. So you must become more ruthless and more effective with your time. But the problem is, as the business grows, there are more and more things that get piled on. Some of it is simply decay. Like over time, tools, they build up, more things have to be managed, processes get band-aided, the company grows, it has a little bit of bloat with it, and at the end of the day, you end up having to wear a lot of different hats, which is fairly normal for most business owners. Like, you have to wear a lot of hats, you got to figure out a lot of things. The issue, though, is that the hours in a day where you're most effective start dwindling down a little bit, and a lot more people and a lot more things need your attention. So most people, high performers, probably at absolute best, probably have maybe 5 hours of like high productive work that they do. And if your 5 hours are spent walking into the office and walking into everybody else's fires, it means that you never have the time to nurture the seeds that need to grow for you to step away from it all. And this is all, very obvious on paper. But in practice, it's a little bit more difficult. So let's say, for example, you have 5 good hours that is productive time, like high cognitive, high capacity work where you're able to do things that only you can do. So like for me right now, I'm trying to do a huge SEO push with the website. I'm writing very in-depth articles about hiring and scaling. And it's stuff I firmly believe that probably I'm the only person in the world could write these specific articles. My camera stand is dying here. Stay. I firmly believe only I could do it. I couldn't find a writer to outsource this stuff to because they don't have all the personal stories and all the personal anecdotes and all the things that make those articles unique compared to all of our competitors. It's stuff that only I can write. I'm the only person in the world who was probably an American in Ukraine with a staffing firm who escaped Ukraine, for example, left during the war, and then changed the name and grew the business into what it is today. I'm the only person in the world who's done that. We're just going to carry you since you keep talking to me and saying you're running out of battery. So I'm talking to my camera stick here. So the point being that at the end of the day, you have to use those 5 hours of really good capacity to do something to push the business forward. Otherwise, it just simply is not going to work. It's not going to function. It will just stagnate. And you'll end up just doing a bunch of the stuff that you hate doing, which is, for me, like admin, it's paperwork, it's taxes. Like, I procrastinated so long this year on doing my taxes. I actually paid what the accountant told me to pay back mid-December of last year, but I didn't finish all the paperwork. And you know why? It was because it's bullshit work that I hate doing to pay the leeches and parasites of society, i.e. politicians, the IRS. I'm having to do work that sucks, that I hate doing, that is difficult for me to do because no one understands taxes. And then I have to pay money at the end of it. So I procrastinated on this thing, and I had this thing hanging over my head. And at the end of the day, I did my taxes this week. I used this timer and I said, how long is it going to take me to compile everything and send it off to the accountant with a full explanation? The answer for all of the investment accounts, all the crypto accounts, all the business P&Ls, all the other personal antidotes, which included selling 2 apartments in Ukraine, the grand total, and getting documents in Ukrainian too from my wife, digging them out of the closet, 43 minutes and 54 seconds. And I put it off for 7 freaking months. I hated myself at that moment. And the reason is because that task was so stupid. It was my exact zone of hate, not my zone of genius. Hatred, plus having to pay invisible people who just waste the money and have to do the work to pay them. Like, yeah, I'm doing the work so I can pay you taxes. Like, insanity, right? And so all of that combined means I put it off for 7 months. 7 months of this hanging over my head, taking away my cognitive power every day, knowing in the back of my head I need to handle this. And I didn't do it. And so what I'm saying is you have to get yourself out of the stuff you hate doing as much as you can. And sometimes it's always going to be you. It's always going to be you that might need to go pull the investment account and give it to the CPA, like no matter what it is. But you got to get yourself out of that, and you got to be blocking those precious hours to do the actual work. And a lot of the times, a lot of founders say, oh, sales and marketing, that's something really important. And I agree. But as a founder, you shouldn't be sitting there dialing the phone. You should be getting someone, like your entire day, your capacity, that 5 hours, should be getting someone to do those dials for you and multiplying yourself. So what I'm saying is those hours that you have, your best cognitive power, you need to be asking, how do I multiply myself in these 5 hours? And you use that cognitive power to build a system or a process, or to hire the right person, or somehow get off your plate, even if it's not hiring, maybe it's automating, no matter what it is. How do you multiply yourself? Your 5 hours need to be going to increasing your capacity through other mechanisms by 5x. At the end of the day, when you start having a family and you start having other commitments and you start having a growing business, that is the only way, is to actually just get back that time ruthlessly. And the next thing, now that I'm gonna wrap this video up, I'm gonna get my time back by telling my assistant to order me a new camera stick that doesn't beep at me when I'm making videos, and that'll get me the time back so that I don't have to, redo these videos. Stop beeping at me. Anyways, that's today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Follow along if you want more good information about growing a business.